Welcome back, everybody, to Foreboding Fridays here at Hold My DualShock. I'm your host, Katie, Andy, and our co-host, Terrace. Terrace, how are you feeling today? You ready to get into this insane episode?
I'm feeling murderous. I don't know what it is about this episode. No, this episode's left me in a quandary because normally I watch these episodes on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, right? This one I watched on Monday. And I was seriously considering about pulling this episode.
Really?
I really was. I didn't.
Because halfway through watching it, I was thinking, should we be doing this? And so I forgot the big ending, you know?
Okay.
Like, so we won't spoil it, but like I forgot the big ending. And the whole time, this episode wants you to be sympathetic, and it's not even the episode. I loathe the main character.
Yes.
Like, and I realized
he does a brilliant job at making
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever like him as an actor. I think that Hollywood or whoever needs to say we've had enough of you. Thank you, but move
Goodbye.
on. Because I couldn't enjoy Alien Romulus as much, or sorry, my
Alien Earth.
Disappointment in Alien Earth was even greater because every time I saw him, there's so many just bad feelings towards this actor, which I usually don't believe in, but he comes across like he wasn't really acting in this. And so for me, that was like a straight, like, I don't know.
So
rejection. Yeah.
It's interesting that we had like similar thoughts, because I'll tell you my thought process, which was obviously when we kind of decide on episodes, is kind of a little wishy-washy in terms of our process, we know that. But then as I did the rewatch, and I did it early for a reason, just in case, you had to switch it, because I remembered the ending, right? And I'm not spoiling anything yet. We should make a call as to whether or not we should spoil it in a second, but I'm trying to avoid spoilers here. And this might just be one of the few episodes of Black Mirror where we may not do spoilers. I don't know.
I wouldn't spoil the ending.
I think if we spoil the ending, the whole episode almost becomes pointless. Yeah.
But basically, my mindset was, I remember the ending from the first time I watched it. It's been, I don't know how many years since my rewatch on Monday, and I was just disgusted, like, through and through. Because when you actually know, you're just like straight into the fucking wood chipper. I don't care, right? Right.
Yep.
And this is the problem, right? Because I like to, we like to explore ideas on this episode, like hypotheticals. But for this particular episode, I struggle so hard to separate, I don't know, my subjectivity of, shoot on sight. No, I don't care. Versus
Don't care.
the whole like idea of like ethics, morality around vigilantism. Oh, however it's pronounced. Which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Being a good citizen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just doing the right thing.
Or define good, right? Like I was like, well,
Yep.
it was just overridden by me wanting this kid dead, like ASAP. Like I just, that feeling was so strong. It's really hard not to say too much without explaining why I wanted to pull it. But yeah.
So let's wait till the end, and then you can explain why you wanted to pull it, and we can have a way more in-depth conversation. It's probably best if we start the episode earlier this time and go through it.
Because I have some thoughts.
Because I have tons of stuff I want to get into, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody. So let's say welcome to everybody in the chat real quick, and then we'll get started. And also, to everyone new here, pinned at the top is the link to the Discord, because we will be watching the episode, and you can watch it there. But what is up, Sergeant Garatina? He says, hello, Doolies and Renegades here at Hold My DualShock. Holiday season's almost here. Yes, it is. What's up, Justin Patton? Thank you for saying have a blessed stream. We also got BP in the chat. What's up? Obviously, Terrace. Then we got Draconis. He says, so wait, is Andy on a lead keyboard for this track?
Lead. Oh my God, Katie.
Lead. Oof. Wherever.
Oh.
You know what I meant. You know what I meant. Sorry, my bad.
I am sickened by the fact that I know.
I know.
Because I shouldn't have to. I should have to help an adult read.
You should be used to it by now. What's up, Diet? Oh my gosh. Brother. All right, let's jump into the episode.
Oh, that's me. Okay, I'm just gonna hit play.
Nope.
Yeah, go for it.
I need to move this around though.
Let me turn it down a little bit.
That's not the right one, is it?
No. It's that one.
Nope.
It's the third one.
That one?
The bottom.
This one?
Yeah.
There we go. Every time.
Yeah.
It's part of the process, so.
Yeah. Where did you say this one fell on the happiness meter?
Oh, it's a straight 0.
It's a straight 0. For a second, I thought this actress was Demi Moore, and then I really looked at her. I was like, "Oh no, never mind."
So around the episode loops, right? Because you don't figure out or find out what the reason is that she's doing all this for until the very end.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. I'm losing my voice a little bit. It's been a long day. Apologies.
Yeah, when we finally get to the car later on, I realized I was like, "Oh, this is what she was doing."
Yeah, that just clicked with me because this is
it's her car.
One of the episodes I almost never come back to because I can't stand this kid. They do a good job of letting you know something's off early on. Which I didn't pick up on, obviously, the first time I watched it. Because what type of person looks for this shit? What type of decent person is looking for this?
You gotta put it together, Andy. You make all the connections. I don't get the point of showing this part.
You don't get the point of showing this part. Katie.
Think about what you just saw on screen.
Katie, we might need it. We might need to do spoilers because I'm not sure Katie understood this episode.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna be so much more upset if that's why that they just did that.
Yes.
That is why they did that. Danger to society.
Every scene you've seen is intentional by design. It's one of, when I say best, I mean it in a particular way. Black Mirror episodes ever produced.
What are you talking about? He 100%. That's why this all happens.
Do we need to do spoilers?
No, hold on. Just wait. Just wait. This is making.
I don't know.
And by the way, it's not up for debate. It's confirmed, Katie. So.
But I thought he said no.
What are you talking about? He absolutely admits to it.
His mom on the phone says it to him at the very end.
I know, but I thought that was a miscommunication.
Nope.
No.
This is why he's so freaked out about people having his laptop. That's why he's so squirrely and this. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So oh my gosh. So Katie was coming away, Terrace, thinking that maybe he's the victim in all this.
Yes.
No.
Oh my God.
No, Katie.
And that because of the other person. So they were okay. I'm gonna have to just wait. I'll just wait until I can say it later on. This is so awful. On Dracona says, "Is jaw gone?" How Brits say, "Get the fuck out of here." I guess that's what was implied, though.
That's the Brit.
Yeah, Terrace.
Sorry, what's that? Jargon?
Is jargon how Brits say get the fuck out of here?
Jargon is a slightly politer way of saying get the fuck out, but it is like a rude way of saying it.
Yep. This Katie completely has. You don't hate this kid enough.
Oh no, you want this kid dead.
Look at this squirrely little bastard.
I thought he liked her.
No, he doesn't.
No,
That's what makes this awkward.
It's why the episode is so good. In a Black Mirror sense.
Yeah, like I thought he liked her.
Nope. And even if he does, not enough to stop from being a degenerate piece of
trash.
That's the chick from Bullet Train, huh?
No.
That's not the chick from Bullet Train? The little bad girl?
I think she is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The one at the end, Katie. The evil one. Katie didn't even know this kid's proclivities, so I doubt that you would remember that's a chick from Bullet Train.
I don't think that's the chick from Bullet Train, but I guess maybe.
Your doubt makes me think it was absolutely the girl from Bullet Train.
You, okay? Because now I'm looking at this in a whole new light of just disgust and hatred, okay?
If I had to suffer through this, everyone else has to.
I think it's a very well thought out episode, but
it's brilliantly done because on the first watch, you go from empathy to revulsion.
Yes, like as an adult woman on the screen. Yes, so I assumed it was normal stuff, not that.
You just got Black Mirrored, bro.
Like, for real, I'm so annoyed right now. Like, that makes way more sense why he's so freaked out.
Yeah.
Later on.
Because I was sitting here thinking he's an idiot, and this is just like an over-exaggeration, and like, why is he being so ridiculous?
Well, first of all, you sound like an e-girl when you say that. Like, the man's caught beating his meat on camera.
Yes, but just like the other dude said, kind of everybody does it. It shouldn't have been that big of a deal.
Do you want it on camera?
No.
Do you want it?
But is it to the extent of doing some of the crimes that he commits?
Well, the episode wants you to think that that's him just working through shame. And that's how they try and make it seem like he's the victim.
Yes. Like, I feel like he's getting taken advantage because it feels like everything else people are doing that are with him are like awful. Like, and so the process of seeing him being strung along, which this part of the scene disgusts me.
Everything about this episode is disgusting. That's what I'm saying.
He also plays the kind of, not to this level of distastefulness. I'm trying to not spoil the ending. This is really fucking difficult. But there's a show called The End of the Fucking World, and he's in it. He plays the same kind of like incel-coded, jittery, anxious kid in it. And I'm just like, that's the way I view him. And I would not want him near any member of my fucking family. Right. So.
Yeah. So it completely just went to sympathy and like he's in a bad situation. And being taken advantage of to he's a piece of shit. He deserved everything that happened to him. He didn't get it worse enough. Like,
Okay, given I can't talk about the spoiler side of things, I'm just going to talk about a couple of one-line reviews for this episode, just to, as we get through it.
Those should be fun.
Review 1. The most disturbing Black Mirror episode of all time. Review 2. The twist ruined me. Review 3.
Black Mirror episode?
This is early on, so...
It's season 3.
By season 3, I think this is the most disturbing.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay.
Season 3 is... these are the last I'll read. The ending is too bleak, even for Black Mirror. And the other one is, it makes you question your own gut reactions.
See, I disagree with that. Second to the last one. I don't think the ending's bleak at all. I think the ending's the only good part. Because the little shit gets what he deserves, you know? Again, only bleak if you're like, he didn't get enough. But I think that this episode is very interesting because it goes along with this trend there was about this time of trying to endear these type of people to us.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not normalized. They weren't bold enough to try and normalize this shit back then. That came a little bit later, but as though they were victims too. And so there was this very sympathetic gaze. Kevin Bacon did a movie similarly where he was one of these. And it likes to take you through I like this character. So why are all these bad things happening to him? And then at the end reveal why, and then kind of hold a mirror up to the audience and be like, see, was this too far? And at the end of this, I think this isn't far enough.
This isn't far enough. Was the black guy also included in that?
They're all in on it. But I will say, when we talk about, so I guess this isn't spoiling anything. So this kid's guilty of something. I don't like the very ending of this. The things they try to equate to why these people do this, right?
Yeah.
So the woman that we saw at the very end.
Yeah.
So she's not guilty of that. Hers is a racism thing.
Yes.
Like at the end. I don't like that. I think that almost undermines how
the
evil.
Entire episode, yeah.
Well, not the whole episode, but just how evil what they're doing.
Yes. Okay.
So I think, God, this is so hard to talk about this without the spoiler side of things. But okay, I'm trying my best. I think one thing I struggled with, which is the reason as to why I wanted to spoil this episode, but we're here,
mm-hmm.
is this kid gets everything he fucking deserves, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to look at it as objectively as possible, like via the eye, like through the eyes or through the sort of profile of the vigilantes, the people orchestrating everything. Like, what is their actual moral hierarchy? Is it some, like, you know, is it justice? Is it chaos? Is it monetary? Because, you know, not everyone gets the same level of, what is it? What do you want to call it? Like treatment or revenge? Like, there are levels to it. The lady at the start just gets an email back with her details being leaked, but it's just, what is it? Like some like racist stuff she said. It's kind of minor in the context of like all the other stuff that's happened. If you take the man that appears in the middle for the stuff he's done, and if you take what he said at verbatim, all that happens to him is his stuff gets leaked to his wife and his family, right?
Yeah.
This kid doesn't make it. So there's clearly some moral gradient that the people running this have.
Yeah, there's levels, I guess, to it.
Yeah, like, so shit. Should we just call him by a name? Maybe, I don't know.
PB says, "Is it as disturbing as Event Horizon? A very good film, but disturbing."
So Event Horizon, I think, is disturbing because like of the events of Event Horizon, but I don't feel morally unclean watching Event Horizon.
Forever unclean.
I think this is well made and well thought out. Like, so I guess we don't need to spoil it, but just like we can just say he's not a victim. You should feel zero sympathy for him. And so even that scene there, like, they clearly want you to feel like this kid's being unfairly targeted and bullied, right?
Yes.
Oh, it's an active choice. Yeah.
Yeah. not employees, but his team members. But yeah, like the people he works with, he's clearly an outcast. It feels like he's being like targeted by everybody.
Yeah.
What's up, Goodwin? He says, "Damn it, will I never be free of alien Earth?" Unfortunately.
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie.
What's up, Ronnie?
What's up? Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
You can call him Joe.
Joe.
Oh my gosh.
And
what's up, Graph Web? You know the deal, homie. We'll sing it at the end. So yeah, no, I think like the setup for this episode. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I hope you feel better soon, Ronnie. I feel like the setup for this episode was extremely well done because it's crafted in a way where you genuinely don't know what's going on until the very end.
Yeah, so at this point, this is where I was thinking kind of like maybe you were, Terrace, like, is there going to be enough to talk about with this episode? Because I'm like, is it just, I forgot the ultimate ending. And I'm like thinking to myself, is this just going to be a conversation about, oh man, online bullying is bad?
Yeah.
Which would be very dull. But obviously that's not the case.
No. I'm glad we didn't pull it. Given the events in the media this week, I was like, you know what? That's a sign.
I think that's actually part of the reason why. Part of the very ending with the inclusion of what I would consider, let's just call them lesser scandals, I think is a little bullshit. It's just bullshit. Like, I know that they're trying to paint these people as kind of like the, anonymous, like these hacker groups that will have like a vigilante type justice that they'll exact on people that they catch doing things wrong on the internet. But I mean, dude, the difference between what this kid's guilty of and racism in my mind is not even freaking remote. And I hate the idea of like, oh, well, they're both bad. Like, dude, come on. Like, we were talking in such.
I'll put it this way. And this is why I struggle with this episode. And it's what makes it a great episode.
Yeah.
Even though the subject matter is so dark and horrid, I would forgive a murderer before I forgave this kid.
100%.
Just straight up.
100%. It's so funny because, and that's the other thing that this episode does bring about is, if you remember, I'm remembering back to conversations that I had when it first came out, and as well as what I was seeing online. There is a segment of society that I do not understand that wants to essentially forgive him, or they'll make the argument, that tries to empathize. And I think there are certain actions that there's 0 point in trying to empathize with. Like,
yay! One episode
good, it doesn't. Okay, you'll
get ready.
It's funny because as soon as
I don't want to say you like it, but you're here. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
you're here, and that's all we need. No, but Andy, no, it's that thing where, and here's the thing: I went on the subreddit for this episode, right?
Oh God!
And honest to God, the exact thread for this episode should be sent to the authorities, because anyone who's even mildly defending or devil's advocating this kid or whatever, your hard drive needs to be fucking investigated straight up.
Yeah. I hate this whole enlightened society idea of like everybody, we should try and look from everybody's point of view. I think there are certain actions that are so indicative of you being so broken that you'll never fit safely into society, that there's just no place for you. And people hear that, and if you don't know the end of the episode, people are like, oh, that sounds egregious, that's terrible. But it's one of those things that like I almost don't care about the opinions of people who
try to disagree.
Like again, like you said, it's
your
like
opinion's no longer valid here.
Again, like submit your hard drive type stuff.
I think the one defense I'll give to, not to him, is to Katie, is a lot of people complained that they missed the line from the mom, which clarified everything.
Yeah,
I was like, because they came to the Reddit thread, And then people explained what was actually going on. It was like a cascade of messages, like kind of like, I don't want to watch it again. Then what I watched.
You're still empathizing with him. You're like, I don't understand why he put himself through this. Like, I don't understand, like, at what point were you going to be like, hey, this is probably too far. And, like, I don't care anymore.
So, yeah, what the episode does very well is they paint him as this squirrely,
like,
preyed upon character who's bullied at work. But on first glimpse, he seems like he's the little weirdo with the heart of gold, who's seen making sure the child gets their toy. And so you can imagine him having a tough go of it. And as Braun says later on, like, dude, so you got caught jerking off. Like, okay, like
the Pope does it. Yeah.
This isn't as fucking bad as what we're about to do, essentially, of all these other things. With him like robbing the bank. Until like, and so like it makes you think that, oh, he's essentially just so ashamed, and then you've got this whole, it's the victimhood and the shame.
Yeah, and that he just really doesn't want his family to know, and that he probably already is dealing with enough issues of being on the out, like
that this will be the final nail in the coffin for his bullies to just really write him off as a human.
Yeah.
So what it does, the writing does, is it makes you empathize with him at a base level, right? Like, it makes you think he's a victim, right?
Yeah.
And the episode, or the writers of this episode, they weaponize that against you, which is what makes the ending, what is it? Like your empathy turns into revulsion, right?
Yeah.
And you feel sick, like genuinely sick, because you feel like you've been betrayed.
Well, now I expect even more so now because you got told me all while we were
alive.
Which
I think is actually quite probably the point, because these type of things are like a betrayal of like the social agreement, right? These are the crimes that people say, oh, I never would have suspected him, right? Where they break the trust of your community and of your family, and that I think that's the thing, is like, I think it's why it's so unforgivable. It's like, you can never be trusted again, because who can understand why you would be that fucked up?
Goodwin said, I remember being mainly bored throughout the episode, and then what the fuck, but I pursed the WTF out of my head, probably due to the boredom. But then he says he now remembers it. He said the episode was weak because it didn't have a strong sci-fi theme. It has no sci-fi theme.
Yeah.
It's a real life theme. What's up, Nadia? And thank you for your $2 super chat, you weirdo.
Roast beef.
Roast beef. Ew.
I don't understand.
No reference to the episode whatsoever, but thank you.
Yeah.
And yes, this is how I feel like most people thought at this point in the episode. You're like, poor kid. I feel sorry for what he's going through. Like, he looks like he's completely out of his depth.
Yeah.
Like, he's dealing with people who, like, he socially just doesn't know how to traverse this terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It plays, like I said earlier, the casting choice is brilliant for this episode, because it plays on the whole, like, what is it? Like, the insuliness of the character. Like, he doesn't interact too much. It kind of tricks you with his interaction with his female colleague.
Yes.
He does, right? Because it softens.
Yeah, I thought he was
and he's getting bullied by his co-workers a little bit, talked down to, with the whole jog on, mate line. So the entirety of this first act, let's say, first third of the episode, and this is the bit I hate the most. It makes you root for the kid, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, you realize you've rooted for one of the things I fundamentally believe you cannot come back from. You just can't.
I don't think it's society's burden to try and rehabilitate people like this, because the risk is simply it's one of those things that I don't care how small the percentage is. It's just, why is it worth it? Immigrants is because of the lack of sci-fi themes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another reason why this episode both stands out, but why I don't go back to it is because the message is like shocking, but it's not what I go to Black Mirror for. It's funny because the actual next episode that autoplays after this was San Junipero, and I immediately thought like, oh, that's kind of what I want from
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. I want, thoughtful explorations of sci-fi themes. This feels more like I don't know like what series would do this, but it doesn't especially feel like Black Mirror. And I'm trying to think if there's another episode that has so little tech in it.
The first one, the Prime Minister one.
That's true. So this is actually very similar to the Prime Minister one. Well, yeah, this is very similar to the Prime Minister one.
Yeah. So I think so a lot of the Black Mirror episodes that we watch generally are chosen for the AI side.
Yeah, like what the future will hold.
Yeah, but occasionally you'll get something that's just so out of pocket, like the Prime Minister one, which we started with, and this one, where I do find I don't know, like just these societal conversations and what would actually happen. Like case in point, the Prime Minister one, we all know how the ending was. I fully believe if the Queen was still alive and she was held hostage and the Prime Minister had to fuck a pig to free the Queen, it would be expected of the Prime Minister to fuck a pig. I think society would actually expect that.
I do too.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Because they'd sit there and be like, the reasons you don't want to do it pale in comparison to like the loss of a human being's life, let alone
the Queen,
a beloved public figure.
Yeah.
Now, would they want him to bang the pig for former Prince Andrew? That was the question.
Andy.
Oh God.
That would be a no.
Prince Andrew loves this episode,
and he loves it. He I'm sure he was consulted on it, right?
My friend.
Yeah,
he loves this episode.
He really does.
Oh my gosh. And then even this part where he's like breaking down and crying, I'm like, what is going on with this kid? Like, I feel like he's completely overreacting.
This point should be the giveaway for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I think.
It should be the giveaway because there's genuine fear of being found out by another man who's just told you he's tried to solicit a prostitute and he's about to lose his family.
Yeah.
And there's no rational amount of shame that with the way that conversation, and then the side eye, he's not afraid of being found out. He's afraid of this guy enacting violence on him.
So like I said, I remember the ending of the episode. There's a lot in the middle. I fully thought back in the hotel room that he was going to kill the kid or something, but I had kind of, I guess, just manifested that thought in my brain. This episode really, I don't ever want to watch it again after this.
Yeah. I thought this part was him trying to get rid of the kid. I thought he was about to speed off.
Yeah.
No, he's in too deep. Goodwin said, I could argue that this episode attempts to show how empathy can be weaponized when you have incomplete information, but I'm unconvinced the writers were that smart.
I'm kind of half with Goodwin on this one. At the same time, I do think this is a brilliantly done episode. Like just because it's kind of horrific, it doesn't mean like it's pull that feeling, it's evoked that feeling out of you, right? Which means, in my mind, it's been written very well. Especially like if on a second watch you view the episode completely differently with the reveal, then I think that to me shows that it is good writing.
I think that's why the ending with the other individuals with the other crimes it falls a little flat because it feels like an equivocation versus like to sit there, like, so to take the point, and I like that narrative, like that Goodwin put out, like the idea that your empathy is being weaponized because people lie, they don't show you their full selves.
And if you only heard part of that, you do empathize with that kid.
But throwing that, and also there's racists, underplays what I think is such a important point that should be scrutinized, and comes across kind of like, yeah, like there are a lot of people out there that are bad behind the scenes and we don't know their online lives. And again, it almost demeans the entire thing that she's saying there, in Reddit saying racist things, and then you've got a guy who's hiring a prostitute and what this guy is responsible from, and like we're gonna pretend like those are the same, which I just
makes no sense.
And so that comes across almost like somebody. Was this still owned by the BBC at this point?
So season 3 and 4 was when it was produced for Netflix.
Yeah.
So this kind of comes across like somebody watched this episode and thought, well, you're kind of going hard on this kid and what he's guilty of, maybe throwing some racist there. And again, that guy should have his hard drives used. Like it feels like a pivot.
I kind of agree that the woman getting punished for like a racist post or something was kind of ham-fisted.
Yeah.
But then again, Charlie Brooker's wife is Asian, so I don't know if he's like overcompensating. So this would have been, when was Me Too? Was it like 2018, 2019?
Something like that.
Let me look it up.
Because this episode would have come out, I know, it would have been a year before, because this is season 3.
2016.
Okay.
Thank you, Goodwin. Also, Niet, thank you for the 5 Hold My DualShock memberships. I'll play a clip at the end for you.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
And yeah, it goes to Terrace. Alien Earth evokes white hot rage from me, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the intent of the writers.
Yeah.
No, it was not, but...
Dude, Me Too started in 2006. Is that what we just said?
No, 2016 was when it actually,
when it popped off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 2017 is when Harvey Weinstein fully got called out, and then 2017 was when Alyssa Milano came out and said, I got steamed.
Yeah. Goin said, it doesn't focus exclusively on those who feel shame, but rather includes some acts that have a social cost.
Yeah.
Yes, but even the shame aspect, I feel like, is like a cover for, because you think this kid feels shame and that's why he's being forced to do such ridiculous things, and that's not really what's going on.
It's one of the things that go ahead.
Well, there's also the fact of, once again, it's hard to talk about without spoiling the ending, of like how different cultures around the world view shame. Like in Japan, for example, they have this whole saving face, if you will, especially in Korea, Japan, saving face. If you go to South Asia, for example, like people will kill themselves or have family members killed for having anything exposed. Like that's very common, right?
Yeah.
On the more kind of Western side of the world, there's the whole thing about like privacy invasion, bullying, all that kind of jazz. So there is a sort of, I don't know, cultural factor around it as well. But if I was to remove, I guess, the main character out of this and just focus on what's happening, which is really hard to do, by the way. The episode is uniquely unsettling because if it was just someone just cranking it, right? And that's all it was on Pornhub or whatever. It's unsettling because it could happen anywhere today with minimal tech. I mean, and this stuff already happens, right?
Yeah, this is like stuff that actually happens.
Like it's commonplace, and people.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I'll say it.
No, like bullying in schools is rampant, right? Like we just had that on the news in the UK. Like a girl ended her own life just because stuff was like, I think a deepfake or something was like spread around her school. So even like you don't even have to be recorded anymore in this day and age, right?
Sure.
So yeah,
It's just how quickly stuff can get spread around. It's just with social media and everything else.
You're talking about like just with people's webcams and stuff getting hacked. Like, so do you remember? I don't know if you guys ever use them, but the things that they put over the webcams.
I literally have one on my laptop like right now. Absolutely. I'm paranoid.
It's so funny though that didn't end up being marketed as like a wanker shield or whatever. Like I can imagine like an Adult Swim style sketch.
Oh my god!
Where it's literally like the sexy time shutter, and it's like
no wanker shield.
It's like we all know what the internet's for, and then it just like if you did it and like it was synced to like dim your lights and put on some smooth jazz, like light the candles in your house. But yeah. That's the stupid tangent that I went off when you were talking.
This part of the episode just reinforces that he's just a twitchy fucker. Like his whole freak out makes him even more pathetic and sad.
Oh, he's a piece of shit. Yeah.
Funny that he mentions Kevin Bacon again, considering Kevin Bacon was in a film with a serious similar premise.
It's extremely odd, yeah. Goodwin said, yeah, face-oriented cultures work when there's a greater group that shares in the shame. The individualism of the West removes a lot of that.
It's an interesting point. I remember hearing people discussing why there's like this just difference in the way people view shame, especially in like Asia. And it comes down to a large part of it being the importance of community, but also the importance of you, not as an individual, but as a member of your family and a part of like the greater,
society.
Part of your family's lineage.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
and wanting to bring honor to your family.
It's like why, stereotypically, but like people say like, oh, the idea of like, Asian homes, like, all my friends, like their parents would like be very driven and be like, you need to do, well in school, you need to do these things because you're like a reflection on the family. You tell that to a Western kid, like, I don't give a fuck. Like they're like, I hate my dad. I don't give a fuck if I disappoint him. Whereas things like disappointing your family really mean something
in other cultures.
Yeah. This is a generalization. Like
well, in the Middle East, I don't know what video I watched, but it was in certain villages, like the way they refer to people's family homes, etc., were like, oh, that's the family. They come from a long line of bakers. That family come from a long line of farmers. If you know what I mean. Yeah. And then they'll say that house, whores, prostitutes, traitors, and like no, and I'm serious. Like once your family lineage in certain countries is tainted, what do you think happens to
it taints the entire family? Yeah,
the idea of family. Yeah. Of social mobility is it's not a whole world concept. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, why so many people overseas like want to move to the West, where there's viewed as you don't have to be locked into these things. People think it's just like more money, but it's, you want to do something different. Like in South Africa, like people want to move to America. They want to move to Europe. There's generally viewed to be more opportunities, more mobility.
Yeah. What's up, Fwoggy? Welcome to the chat. Says, I love this episode. What in particular about this episode?
It's so funny. We've been watching a lot of My Hero Academia, and so I can't get the frog chick out of my head when I hear Froggy.
Oh my gosh. Goodwin says, yeah, traditional cultures tend to still believe in collective guilt, which also can be multi-generational.
Damn straight.
Yeah, which is why, Terrence, to go back to the point you made, why people would kill themselves if they did something that they felt would taint their lineage because they didn't want to bring that upon their family.
Not just kill themselves or be pressured to kill themselves or be killed by their family members. It's not an uncommon thing.
What's up, CD Stein? It says, what's up? Hail, Katie and Andy and the rest of the beautiful drunk duelists in the chat. Better late than never. I know you all were desperately missing my weight of wisdom. Welcome. Join the Discord if you want to see the actual episode.
Always happy to have you.
Yeah. Goodwin said honor killings are a thing.
Yeah, they're rampant.
Okay, so even this point, like this also makes you like sympathize even more with him when he pees on himself. I'm like, dude, this poor kid is like having to do these awful things. And I was like, at what point is he gonna be like, I'm out? It's not worth it. This is too far. Like you just committed a crime.
So two things, Katie. Did the money ever actually matter in this entire episode?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. 2, if he's willing to go this far,
I know I should have known
it
it
should
at some
be
point. At some point, I should have made the connection. There's clearly something else going on.
If all it is just him cranking it to the hub or something,
yeah,
you probably wouldn't go this far in a Western country.
Well, dude, that's why I was like, he's such an idiot. I'm saying you're thinking he's such an idiot. Like, it's too far.
But it's also, I think it's a test. And I think kind of like Gowen's saying, the problem is you're compounding your guilt with each crime you commit. So he's got this anonymous group that's watching him that is determined he's a disgusting little fuck, right?
Yeah.
And again, when they drop the bomb at the end and tell you what he's guilty of, I think it also makes sense of, wow, somebody who's willing to go to these increasing lengths to hide their crimes, that person will never, they'll do anything not to be held accountable, which means they're not going to hold themselves accountable. So where does it stop with them? Like, you can't trust that person in society. And I think that this is why I don't understand people who empathize with this kid, who say he hasn't committed a crime against any individual. And I'm like, I think that this episode is like the other side of this. Well, obviously yet though, right? Because he's willing to rob a bank instead of changing his behavior and preventing people from finding out. And then, I mean, at the very end, he does more than that, all to keep his secret. But we're supposed to trust this person to just let it stop where it stops.
Yeah, I do agree with that. You've missed a wild episode, CD Stein. Honor killings and pissing himself. Damn, 20 minutes late, and I'm sure Elvis is done. And yeah, Goatee says, Brian, Katie, and I've seen shows where kids feel forced in situations like this before, too. So I'm saying, like, I feel like they crafted the episode so well to where it seems like he's being bullied and taken advantage of because of something that I would perceive initially as not that big of a deal.
Well, and this is coming out especially at a time when we've had a decade of the greatest crime in the world is bullying, right? Where everybody's a victim of bullying. I remember getting in a fight in high school with another one of my friends, and it was just us being dickheads. We were like both on the rugby team, and he's like one of my best friends, but like once or twice a year, we would just end up in a fist fight. We were just dumb kids. And the principal's first worry was that one and or both of us was somehow being bullied. And so I feel like society was really conditioned to be like, oh, who's the victim here? Like the one who looks the most upset, surely it's society preying on them. And this video is about the complete opposite, how sometimes those people are the ones preying on society.
And also that you shouldn't just take people at face value, that underneath, even though he seems so harmless, he is a vile human being.
Well, and do you guys think some bullying is, if we didn't call it bullying, if we called it social pressure to not do certain things, would you still think it's wrong?
No, I think it's completely acceptable.
I mean, there's like the way I view it is like in any given population, you're going to have psychopaths because fundamentally speaking, like this is going to sound weird when I say it, but someone having psychopathic tendencies isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if it is to protect the rest of the population, say in a pool of 100 people, if that person is willing to do what it takes, say, to defend a village that others aren't capable or willing to do, then it's a net benefit to society. And at the same time, people, and so kind of moving on from that a little bit, people need to be willing to remove people like this kid from their flock.
Yep.
If the society is to, I say society, I should use the word community, if that your community or your network is to remain healthy, right? It occasionally needs pruning. And one way or another, the psychopaths and the pruning will manifest. And there's like what's that line from Margin Call? Like the numbers may change, but the percentages always stay the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there are always going to be psychopaths, and there are always going to be people like these kids, right? I say kid, whatever, right? And yeah, it needs to be dealt with. So
Yeah.
Goon said, or the moral compass is already broken due to the original act, and the trolls simply enable his other crimes, which allows a vigilante by proxy situation.
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay. Goon, is this a real event that happened? You said you also had a delivery driver show up at a bank with a bomb locked around his neck a few years before this was put on him by a third party and the bomb went off.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. What's up, Grave Walkers? Welcome to the chat. It says bullying has hidden a cheat rule about what weapons you can use. Then jocks learn there are no rules and the rest of the school pays with them. What?
I think he's saying that, like, if I'm reading that right, that bullying teaches that there's like a 2-tier society, maybe, that you can get away with some things if you're like big, popular, or powerful, maybe. I think that's what they mean. So this is where it all hits home.
Yeah, I'm not reading that comic. Good one, but this one is, yeah, it happened to us. Okay. This comment.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's where we are. It's not a spoiler at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Psychopathy or sociopathy aren't guarantors of criminal or immoral behavior. Pedophilia, on the other hand. Yeah. That's why, because this is where we are. This is why I don't like the link to racism. The idea that prejudice is much of a gateway to a crime, dude. And again, it seems so, I don't know, performative to throw in the, like, whereas an actual video about pedophilia and what he's guilty of is so, I think, much more on point. Like, I do think it's a absolute indicator of being a danger to society and being a criminal. And again, the people who try and convince us that they're not, that, oh, it's not, that they're a victim, or like, I just simply don't care. Like, don't think that's any place. And to try and understand it, to try and rehabilitate it.
So this point.
In this, you see, they both lie to each other. They're both lying. Yeah.
So you should have known at this point, Katie.
He's shaking his head. So I was like, no.
He's willing to shoot himself, Katie. This is where Katie doesn't understand the acting.
Like, what do you not get about this?
No, I got it. I was saying, I thought when he said that, I was like, oh, so that's why he's there. And then when the other dude was like shaking his head, I didn't connect that he was like, oh, I'm in the same boat.
But Casey, you watched the entire episode, and these were the only two that had to fight each other to the death. None of the other people that did quote unquote bad things had to do that.
Maybe personally, I just didn't want to believe that this dude was doing that, so I was like, nah.
Okay, given we're at this point, and the phone call from his mom saying it was kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Him being willing to shoot himself, I should have actually made the connection, yes.
Yeah. What a coward. Go beat your head off of a tree. Both of you kill yourselves.
PB, your question's not too much. We'll just get to it once I'm highlighting your guys' questions, and we'll get to it at the very end because the episode's almost over. Because his thing, I'm like, when I saw Alien Earth, I believe he did that first. He kind of fits the ammo because I'm like, yeah. But so you see him first, and I'm like, oh,
That's another thing I don't especially like about this episode. So when he was talking about, especially on rewatch, when he was talking about wanting to hook up with a 20-something,
Yeah.
it almost flirts with like, okay, was she also underage? The girl he was talking to.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, so
that's
no.
the vibe I got.
Yeah. In which case, if it's just him hooking up with a prostitute, yeah, discussing loathsome, like, yeah, you're a terrible family man, but completely different stratosphere to being a pedophile.
Yes.
And if this is a actual pedophilia thing, this response is not enough. Like the police should be.
I don't know if we can keep saying that word. Just heads up.
My conclusion is it wasn't. It was probably just a prostitute.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that really makes sense in terms of.
Which, and then at that point, I don't think that's even near in the stratosphere on the same realm as.
Yeah, your wife would hate you, and you.
Yeah, you lose your family. But
so the thing is, there is no gradient with this thing. There's all these bad things, and then there's being a fucking nonce.
So,
right?
like, yeah, racist emails, like.
Yeah.
Who, like, are you?
And if you'd seen it, it said that she essentially made a racist joke.
Yeah,
okay.
No, it's ham-fisted. So
yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, wait for the line, Katie.
And so yeah, when I see him walk out, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy he lived. So okay, so sick and disgusting pervert makes me like, what did he do?
It could, for him, it might have legitimately just been pornography or something.
Yeah.
Again, anybody who's not got the police there is dead. I'm like, if they're guilty of being a nonce, like, it's too little.
So this.
Yeah. Okay, how'd you miss this?
I thought it was.
The police show up.
Yeah, I thought that was because he stole the money.
Well, he also just killed a guy.
In that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like how. Yeah. By the way, that's the best social commentary. All of us remember the crime that we think is most important, which is him being a kid diddler, and not the murder, because
he also killed another kid. So
as much as people really try and equivocate, bro, we all know it's worse. Like, I think any functioning person is like, yeah, that's worse.
I hate that they're using Muse for this because I love Muse.
Yeah,
it really bugs me.
Just like, you're ruining my music.
What's funny, kind of with all this subject matter, apparently, so a couple of years ago, I don't even know where it started from, but Muse got accused of being like far right because Alex Jones, apparently the lead singer of Muse, enjoys the Alex Jones show. And with all like the purity test of like, oh, you can't, everybody who watches Alex Jones is a menace to society. And like, it became this whole thing of like, oh, terrible, Muse are terrible. And there's so many ways you can enjoy Alex Jones.
Bro, Muse are fucking awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna take a breather because that was tough.
And yes, Garatina, this is by far what has been one of the darkest episodes of the whole show. It has easily been the darkest episode we've ever shown on Foreboding Fridays.
Yeah.
This trumps playtest by a fucking mile.
By a lot.
And playtest was dark.
Yep. And yeah, Goodwin said, yeah, I think it's only the final two that are the serious deviants. Yes, I would make that assumption. I think I do agree with Andy though, including, I guess you have to include the other stuff to have people to pass the stuff along. And by just leaking their information, they're saying it's not as bad. Terry, did you see this?
So Goodwin wasn't here for it, Brad. At the start of the stream, I was saying this was one of the few this episode I was considering pulling off the schedule. Just given how dark it was, but given like all the Epstein news and stuff this week, I was just like, you know what, this is a sign. Let's just go ahead and do the fucking episode. Yeah.
But
while we regroup and collect our thoughts, let's hit these super chats.
Yeah, let's do a clip for Niet 5 whole.
We'll do the Grapho one first.
Oh, you want to do that
Or
first?
crack this soda.
Okay. You said before, so
Go.
for fuck's sake.
Cancel Disney Plus. Thank you very much, Trafford.
Thank you. And for Nadia's ridiculous post for $2.
Roast beef, which she insists is an inside joke
joke
between she and Katie, which is disturbing.
And Nia's 5 my DualShock memberships. Thank you. Let's play a video. Now, Tara's probably going to kick us off.
You have some down there.
Do I?
Yeah. See?
Oh, ha.
Play something fun. Play potatoes.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Niet. You're a legend.
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I apologize in advance because I feel like everyone's mood is now for the worse.
I did say there was I did really consider pulling this episode, but once again, it's one of the few episodes that's so fucked up that you kind of have to watch it. Otherwise,
where is it? He said I was going to pull it off the schedule, but I happened to get a great price on a hard drive purging service.
Sponsored content.
Oh my gosh. All right. So C. Stein says zero tolerance, anti-bullying policies, and participation trophy mentality has gotten us to where we are today in society. I'm all for social corrective bullying, not the kind there is today.
Yeah.
There's a time and place for everything.
This is an overcorrection. We're social animals. Every social animal, there's a hierarchy that lets the group, the pack, the social group know what is acceptable in that sphere. And even if you play the whole relativity thing of different cultures and whatnot. Yeah, but different cultures still look at other cultures and say, not in our culture. And so I find that argument kind of falls flat because it's used to put this blanket of you can do anything and nobody can judge you. And that's not how humans work. That's not how anything works. It's not how society works. We're all constantly being judged. We're all constantly having our worth assessed. Are we worth as much trouble as we are to the system? And if that tips into the point of no, then society, I think, should be able to write you off because 100%. They want to make it seem like, oh, you're going to get written off if, you're not the brightest schoolboy or whatever. That's not why. It's for vicious, aggressive crimes, completely uncouth behavior. And yet now we can't separate again. And I think that's why this episode rubs me wrong is, oh my God, racist email equal to being a nonce. They're I
was just saying when you were going for a second, I don't think they're saying it's the same because as you saw,
I don't think they are. I'm just saying it allows that to be. So take it. Let's say if this episode is they're all about catching this pedophile ring. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then each person gets their justice. How do you view that group? If their singular focus is catching truly
predators.
Dangerous predators, right?
Well, it's clearly not their focus because
it's any fucked up behavior. Mm-hmm. And so
it's not to catch a predator. It's to catch anyone doing something quote unquote bad.
The meme they send, right? I think that if the takeaway is they've uncovered and they've exposed a bunch of people who are dangerous to children, that meme means something different than essentially what they leave us with is, in addition to that, where you see that meme and you're like, good, you fucking had it coming. You have a racist, a guy who may have just been looking at pornography, and a guy who's trying to solicit a prostitute.
Well, a cheater.
Yeah. I just think it muddies the message, and it almost feels like they want to pull back from just straight up saying, we have a real problem with people hurting children, and they the whole get the wood chipper out type thing.
100%. And I also think bullying makes stronger people. You develop better as a well-rounded person.
Well, no, look, unfair bullying is obviously terrible, right?
Yeah.
Getting bullied for like wearing the wrong shirt, stupid. Being bullied because people can tell that you like children, that's not bullying.
That's not bullying. But that's what I'm saying. That's not
society, but it all gets looped in, and it's not a slippery slope fallacy because we're here, but it starts with people saying no behavior is unacceptable, and anybody who's essentially trying to correct societal behavior is a bully, and that's how you have parts of the populace that are so
I think
open about their
saying
degeneracy. And I
shouldn't
mean,
have bullying, it opens it up to being like everything should be accepted. That people shouldn't have to try and be better, and that there should be no shame, which I don't agree with.
100%. But it's by conflating actual bullying with society saying that's inappropriate, stop it. Like, and it's why
judging people,
you now have people who can do lewd sex acts in public, and where there's a hesitancy to call people out and say, you're sick, you're disgusting, stop, there are children around, or why we
no problem
admitting
wearing furry costumes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, admitting that they're a furry and fighting to be able to wear their furry costume at school because people are afraid to be like, that's weird, knock it the fuck off. And so people sit there's like, God, remember how bad the 90s were? People were being bullied, not for the same things that they're claiming. People weren't hiding behind, if only I could wear my furry costume to the 5th grade, I could really be myself. No, it was people were being bullied for like stuff they couldn't, that wasn't like bad, I would say.
Yeah. He said, honest question, is believe all blank a form of social pressure and bullying, or is trust but verify a better neutral stance?
I think so.
Yeah, trust but verify is a better neutral stance.
The believe all thing was just a slogan that
for the Me Too movement
was like,
yeah.
But it wasn't just believe. It became pervasive at the time of any accuser you had to believe in
wholeheartedly. Yeah.
One, like, we live in a society where everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Like, there's a difference. Not everywhere in the world has this stigma of being charged with a crime. Overseas, like, you're charged with a crime. That's part of trying to find the criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you're convicted. You've done nothing wrong until you're convicted, until it's proven that you did the crime. Yeah. Arresting someone's just the system trying to find the person responsible.
Goodwin said, yes, it's cry bullying and weaponized empathy. You require evidence to convict, not just trust me, I said so.
Yeah.
Well, especially because, dude, how many times have people come out after the fact and said they lied?
Yeah. I mean, right now we've gone through the Juicy Smouillet thing, right?
Yep.
And that had an outrage. It looked like he was proven that he made it up. Now there's a Netflix show trying to, it seems like, rehabilitate him that he wasn't lying, and that there, and the whole thing's a fucking mess. And it's because society keeps yo-yoing between jumping on and be like, oh, we absolutely believe him, we need to act as though people are already guilty, and then the obvious stupidity you feel when you're like, oh, I got taken for a ride.
Yeah. CD Stein says, so if you deleted a kid diddler, I'm assuming, yeah, are you really a murderer, or are you doing society a needed service?
Interesting question.
Okay, so let's step back a bit, right? Because I think I started off with one of my earlier comments for the stream, which is I'd forgive a murderer before I ever would even consider. No, I wouldn't consider it. Forgiving a pedophile. They're beyond rehabilitation. They're fundamentally broken, and they need to be removed from society. The problem we have right now, especially in the Western world, is when things that shouldn't be used as a political football end up being used as a political football. Then all of a sudden there are sides to things, right? And these things get amplified to the extreme. You're either on Team A or Team B. And when there's nuance to things, say the transition stuff and everything, like pre-2016, I don't think people really gave a fuck, right? And then all of a sudden, it's about men going to women's bathrooms and all that stuff. this it gives cover for shit like this to like go under the radar, and that's a problem, right? Because you have to be, I don't know, in America, you have to be seen as to being part of the right side of history, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of difficult when there are only two teams, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, there are things that shouldn't be used as a political football. And just a tangent off of that, when I think about, I do believe this, that humanity does have this innate desire for mob justice, right? So in a village or in a small town, your local criminal, your thief, what have you, your local murderer, I don't know, would just get beaten up and the police or the village chief look the other way, right? In our times, what happens on YouTube, right? When a big YouTuber gets caught cheating on his partner, we're hooked on seeing some sort of corrective action taken or that person being shamed. On YouTube, people do in-depth video analysis of the banal lives of a bunch of, like, I don't know, people that you don't even know, right?
Yeah.
So there's a part of our psyche that wants a form of justice. Well, so I just feel like vigilantism is it, like, if governance isn't going to solve for it, if the checks and balances aren't going to solve for it, then that itself, vigilantism, will just naturally come to the fore in some fashion.
Yeah. I think vigilantism is the natural order of like human, like societal structures. And the fact that we have like stricter or like more in-depth governance allows people to not need any form of vigilantism. But if you strip away all the mechanisms of society, it's always been there, right? Like,
Yeah, that does corrective
it's
actions.
tribal stuff. It's the idea of we all know what's tolerable and you're not going to get away with this. And so it falls on the strongest person in the tribe to say, no, not today. We're not doing this.
Well, and we've even seen recently, like a bunch of companies saying, like, if they found out people like in their company were cheating on their spouses, they would let them go because they didn't want them as a part of their company because it ruined their trust.
What about terms of service? I would argue is like a form of vigilantism. When you're sitting there and you don't like someone politically, or you don't like what a person stands for, and you don't let a payment as a payment processor, you won't let people donate to like their GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
That is, again, it's just you saying, hey, there's not a law to stop this, but I think there should be. So I'm just going to do it myself. And yeah, you're not like, there's layers to it. And I think it's just people feeling that laws don't cover the things that matter to society. It's kind of like this thing that we all believe in the rule of law when it works, and when it doesn't, we still get things done because we're not gonna not steer society the way we think it should be steered.
Like that's such an interesting thing, because I think so at my friend's company, when I met his CEO, like his whole like mantra was just like, just break the rules first and seek forgiveness later if it means you get ahead. And that is the way a lot of corporations operate, especially in the tech space, right? Like Uber did it. You're seeing all these AI companies do it. But in terms of the whole justice thing, if the police, if your local law enforcement are not doing what the average moral compass of a decent human being dictates that they should do, where does that leave you, right? If you feel your children, your family aren't safe, there is no fucking way I would not have a crowbar or something at the door in the middle of the night just in case, because you just simply can't trust the government in some cases.
Yeah.
And that is true for the UK.
Well, I think that, and you touched on hit some of these comments, but I wanted to revisit something you said a second ago, but it'll be a bit probably long-winded.
Goodwin said, in the absence of justice, vengeance will suffice. And you said terrorist existed in more select communities long before 2016. Queer theory has been around since at least like the 1970s in academia, which includes justifying things like maps, which is what I think you were kind of getting at earlier when we were watching the show.
Yeah, that whole horseshit with what the NAMBLA, the man-boy love association that was around the 70s, like,
yeah,
they've tried to recycle it.
Dude, these fuckers come up with like, the first time my friend told me about maps, I thought he just meant like actual literal like geography maps or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, when he explained what it was, I was like, oh, straight into the wood chipper. Like, no. If you're going to, if you have to even think about hosting a lecture or something, justifying this, and you're part of like enabling this, something's gone horribly wrong in society that this is even like, I don't know, like tolerated. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's this weaponized empathy, and you mentioned the kind of the two-party political system, and that's why I think it's ruining society. You have people who've completely turned over their freedom of thought to this two-party ideology, and so not only do I not think for myself, I can have inverted thinking done for me. If someone I view as my political opponent, whatever they say, I must think the opposite of. And I've seen it play out. I mean, you see it all over Reddit. That's why I love Reddit. It's filled with absolute mentally incapable people. And I saw somebody raging because a specific YouTuber had basically stated that they felt that in certain circumstances, capital punishment is the safer option, that is necessary. A conversation about should we or should we not have capital punishment is not a left-right thing. I remember studying that in RME in the UK, and like it was a conversation. It's a moral argument, but it's not inherently left or right. And yet, because they had made up their mind that, oh, only right wingers think that there's ever a situation where somebody should be put to death for a crime, that, you know, they can't be rehabilitated. They walked it down, and they actually unironically ended up with people like siding with things like pedophilia, because it became a conversation of anybody who thinks anybody's not capable of being rehabilitated, it's a purely right-wing thing. It can't be someone saying simply, I think this is just too dangerous for society. And they started defending it. And that's how you end up with this. I'm so empathetic that you see a degenerate criminal who's a danger to children. I see someone who wasn't loved enough. And it's this weird holier than thou bullshit. And it's not practical. And at the core of politics should be practicality, because politics is not a moral argument. It's not philosophy. That goes into steering your decision. But at the highest level, all politics, I almost said politics. All politics is somewhat immoral, because you are always acting against somebody's interest as you try and do the greatest good for the greatest number.
Bye, Ronnie and PB. I hope you guys feel better.
Yeah, I hope you feel better.
Yeah, and I hate the idea that, like, it's so stupid that they go back and forth as if one side, if you pick one side, then the other side has to be the complete opposite, when they both could believe the same thing, because it's just a universal truth.
Yeah.
For the record, I'm a strong proponent of capital punishment. I just do think there are some things that I just say societal drain, like housing people. I don't want to use the word people. There are things that, let's just say, people in prison have done that are so heinous. You're like, there is, and not even just like pedophilia, just other stuff where you're like, there is no path back for you. Like we watched Mindhunter, right?
Yep.
Every single one of those fuckers, I'm like, why is there not like a bullet in your head? Why aren't you on the electric chair? Right. The whole premise of that show is, the character interviewing all those serial killers, and you're like,
yeah,
look, I mean, it's a great show, but you should be on the electric chair.
Once they go through the whole process of like getting in their heads and like explaining their whole mindset, you're like, you are not fit for society ever.
Yeah. Maybe you earn yourself a nicer last meal by aiding us, but we're not going to put you up for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. VP says, didn't you guys talk about wood chippers earlier this week? Was that foreshadowing that went completely past me?
It was. It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't foreshadowing for me because I didn't even.
I didn't get
it at all.
Well, it's because, like there's just saying, we ended up talking about the whole Epstein stuff this week because it came up.
Yep.
And once I remember the ending of this, Terrace, I was actually glad that we did it because I even saw that this week. And I think that's what I complained about on Tega was there's a whole MacGruber sketch about the Epstein thing.
SNL,
I love
yes.
MacGruber. I think it's funny. It's not peak MacGruber, but it's pretty good MacGruber. But even with this, I feel like there's this attempt to downplay the consequences of the Epstein list into we ignored it. It wasn't real. This couldn't be real. Only people who are dangerous conspiracy theorists thought it was real.
Now it's obviously real, but
so obviously real. We can joke about it, and nobody needs to be held accountable. And we missed, I think, the
accountability,
the outrage period.
Yeah.
I think society should be outraged that has gone on. I mean, there was a politician on the news today who was kind of being made to answer. She was a former prosecutor for why she had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And basically their answer was, oh, well, you know, as a prosecutor, we work with a lot of criminals to try and get to the bottom of stuff. Basically, they were talking to him, trying to get political secrets. And secrets, yeah.
Secrets.
Yeah.
Secrets.
And they didn't care about his crimes against humanity. And there was like a double take where the person was like, wait, what? And this was quite a liberal news outlet. And this whole culture war has become so hot that people, I think, are realizing that they have set aside actual morality to play sides. And you see it on both sides, people condoning things that a day before they would have said, no, that's inappropriate, that's wrong, until their opponent stands out against it. And they're like, oh, it must actually be a good thing. It must be virtuous, in fact, because it upsets my opponent.
It's yeah, when like American politics is just a fucking like sports game, and this is a problem when there are only two choices, right? Because like I said, you're forced to root for your own team against things you shouldn't, like, you shouldn't like morally be advocating for, right? Or turning a blind eye to, right? Just because pride and ego come in the way of not wanting to lose to the other side. Whereas, like, I'm of the notion that politics should be, well, the modus operandi is to solve problems, right? Once it stops being that, and it's all about winning, right, it stops being politics. And it's yeah, I don't know. So some of the mental gymnastics I've seen that's come out, like, I mean, like, it's the hypocrisy is insane. It's like,
yeah. Grave point. He said, I mentioned that you're in rule that the larger jock first fist punching people who gets to bully everyone with permission. Everyone else gets to be victims. The victims come back with guns. F your rules. Homie, what are you talking
about? If I'm reading what they're saying, there's kind of what we were talking about earlier, that like things like vigilantism, if the system doesn't stop what we view as cruel or wrong behavior, right?
Yeah.
People will still correct it. And it can come across as this hyper extreme inversion of decency. But people aren't going to put up with being victims. And so if society operating on trust, if you can't trust that you're going to be protected, you're not going to sit there and spend your whole life being victimized.
True, yeah.
Now, it may make you a bigger danger, but there's a great line from the Broken Earth trilogy, and they because the whole book is, you know, it's a kind of sci-fi look at prejudice, which I really liked. And the characters that have these powers are treated like beasts of burden, if not just outright killed. And they said the problem with they use a thing of like obsidian, because it's like in a post-apocalyptic world where that's their only cutting tool. They're like, an obsidian blade is useful, but it's dangerous. But if you beat down on the obsidian blade, it becomes a broken pieces of shattered glass, and then it becomes a danger to everybody who walks by it and will cut their feet. And so it becomes a tool of precision, and then versus just a danger to everybody. I've always liked that kind of imagery. And I think that that's the thing about society. You can sit there and tell people, look, we're going to sort it out. We're going to keep everybody safe. But if you don't do that, people will not live in a society where they don't feel safe. And then now you're having to police the fact that people are breaking your failed laws in pursuit of safety, which is what the laws were put there to achieve in the first place.
Yeah.
It's kind of the, like, I mean, like, two things. Like, when I think about like companies I worked for, when the rules come from the top down, but the people on the ground, like the salespeople, traders, what have you, know how to skirt around certain things, because at the end of the day, it's the results that matter, right? So you're working under the presumed confines of a certain system, but in practice, you're not really following that. Because, you know, A, you won't get caught, B, it delivers results, right? So it keeps the upper echelons happy. Not a great comparison, but I just kind of find that concept interesting. Like, as long as they don't know, but they know the money's coming in, no questions get asked. But separately, so I'm like, sorry, I'm tangenting. I think the whole not spoiling it has kind of warped my brain. But when I think about the concept of altruism, right? Like that as a sort of psychological trait in people. Like, why do people do altruistic things, right? Is there an inherent sort of survival mechanism or blueprint that exists in people's DNA as to the reason they do things when there's no inherent benefit to them, right? So when I think about that, and I don't mean people just fucking shilling it for like YouTube content or TikTok content where it's clearly staged. I think about that as like a parallel to sort of to like vigilantism, which is heroes do exist, but they may not be in like the sort of superhero theme like that we have, you know, that portrayed in mainstream media. So they do exist. Altruism does exist in my mind. So I do believe that there will be some sort of self-correcting behavior. So as situations get more extreme, good people will, well, the hope I do have is they will eventually stand up, right? It may just take a long time. Some part of me does feel right now with the whole Epstein stuff, although it does feel there's a lot of people moving the fucking goalposts, right? There is a hell of a lot of people. I don't want to say in the middle. They can be right, they can be left. That are like, yo, this it's just a fucking uniparty. This is bullshit. We want justice for the kids, for the victims. So it does leave me with some hope for humanity. But yeah.
Well,
bit all over the shop there. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, but with the Epstein stuff, I think the takeaway this past week, with the reversals, at this point, almost every public figure is guilty of at least one lie. Whether it was there was no list, now there's a list, or you know, this has gone back and forth. There's no way that people in good faith were arguing based on logic the entire time. There was a gamification going on, and I think that should be held accountable. We should be like, okay, if you actually, like you said, if you care about the crime itself, the political ramifications shouldn't matter. I think Nadia said, it's like, dude, she was like, even if Trump's on the list, I want to know, because he should be removed from society. Like, if he's guilty, he should be removed from society. But we need definitive answers. And we've spent years having it pretending like it wasn't a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it started, the only reason this stuff gained traction is because people kept saying as a joke, sure, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, right? Because people were afraid to question the official narrative. And then, you know, you had in the entire campaign of like 2020 was like largely a lot of people saying, we're going to find out what actually happened with Epstein and we're going to release the Epstein documents. Then they got into power, and then people are like, actually nothing to see here. And then actually maybe a little more than we admitted to see here. Like, everybody's lied. People need to be held accountable for. And again, with the subject matter, why are you lying? This should not be a political thing. A pedophile island should be something that is like,
we want
that's beyond
released.
Bond level evil. That's one of those things that you'd hope society would come together and say, look, we put our differences aside, say, let's nuke the island. Let's, you know, save the kids and nuke the island. You know?
It should be uncontroversial.
Yeah.
Never worship your idols, folks. Or sorry,
Mhm.
never meet your heroes. Yeah.
Some of these comments are phenomenal.
Bro. Oh, Terrace, you're embarrassing me. I'm not a hero, just a man doing what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
Emperor
Good one.
Goodwin on his time off goes on to Alpha Bro podcasts and puts those women in their place.
VP says, yes, spot on. Whether intentional or not, the educational system in the U.S. has been subverted toward one ideology. So you're saying that school actually has shaped people rather than media.
Yeah. Grave Walkers had a comment about the old adage of might makes right. People live by that, then have rules that their victims are not supposed to make themselves equal. Sam Colt style. Yeah.
What's Sam Colt style?
The guy who created the Colt
The
revolver. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things that
Is it might makes right or is it survival of the fittest?
it's the same thing. Yeah, same concept. Same as like in politics, like realpolitik. Like you can sit there and you can have all these things, but a more pragmatic view often is what we revert to when all the niceties get stripped away. Like we can sit there and be like, oh, we have an economy based on debt and our international policies based on economics, but at the end of the day, it's big stick behavior.
It's a Fugazi, right? Is that the term? Like, I
Fugazi.
think, yeah, Fugazi. With realpolitik, it's kind of like, and I may be using it wrong here, apologies, but it's kind of like, at the end of the day, your everyman wants to see change on the street, right? In their local community. They want to see actual, tangible change.
Yeah.
And like politics, I don't know, it just goes in cycles, right? Where it's like you believe in that person to bring change. Well, something deteriorates to a point, something gets turned into a political football that shouldn't be. That an edge issue, if you will, an edge case issue turns into this whole big thing, whilst actual things that are really important, like the price of groceries, jobs, the day-to-day thing that affects most people, your spending power, the value of your money going down, that falls by the wayside until these edge cases become the thing that we have to deal with now. And then a year passes, you realize things haven't really gotten better, they've gotten worse. There's been like a lot of smoke and mirrors. So that leads to either disillusionment or doubling down, I was right, and I have to see it out. So I don't know. It's kind of like, what's the phrase? Like biting off like the nose or something.
Oh yeah, cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably also why edge issues always seem to be at the center of political debate, and it's because of their edginess, because there's very little political capital in arguing things that everybody agrees on, right? Sadly, those are the things that usually would lead to, the best outcome for the populace. Instead, you pick something that is going to take a certain amount of branding and marketing to get people to agree it, because it'll be guaranteed to be controversial and be argued.
Guaranteed to set you apart.
And exactly, because people want flashy politics, not basic politics. And it happens with every single issue. Like I saw, like over the last election cycle, the concept of UBI kept coming up. People were tackling it from many different issues. One was like a moral argument of, stripping away the hypothetical of it all and just saying like, essentially people making the argument, I think people need to work, which is fine. You can have that opinion. But not talking about, okay, like with automation, what happens if people don't have the ability to work? Like, what do we do then? I'm not wanting to talk about that. Elon Musk, who is somebody that people would largely write off as radically right wing, was essentially making the argument that within like 10, 20 years, people won't need to work anymore because of the advancements in AI. And so
technology.
He's not making the argument that everybody's going to be poor. They're saying that basically these jobs will pay out and So it's the same argument. It's about at some point technology takes over and we don't want to pay people to be garbage men. It's just not worth it to society when we can have drones and robots do it. And so to keep people taken care of, do you just supplement their income with money earned elsewhere? People sit there and they'll view it politically, but then at the same time, you have Trump right now talking about giving a tariff rebate. And so it's free money, which should be if you're, again, I don't believe these, it's like kind of false dichotomy, but if you believe it, a conservative should be like, fuck no, like free money is wrong, right? Because that's what we're told, that you're supposed to like work. But it's coming from tariffs, which is a right-wing thing, because all of a sudden tariffs became a right-wing thing and not just an economic thing. And so therefore, free money good. And it's asinine. And that, I think, is the problem with the two-party system. It's not that it's where it falls better and worse than like a parliamentary system, because I saw C.D. Stein, I think, mentioned thinking it was better than the parliamentary system. You can have a three-party non-parliamentary system. Like it's the refusal to operate outside of the dichotomy that I think is making politics so dumb, because you don't have to have a rational argument. You just have to straw man the other argument. And again, that's where we get to people calling them maps instead of pedophiles, because it suits a political ideology to try and weaponize empathy at all costs, because your argument is at its core, we're the nice ones, they're the mean ones. On the other side, it's they're the crazy ones, we're the sensible ones. It's so you can't be empathetic and sensible. And I hate that level of reasoning.
I think also, I mean, I know we have a parliamentary system here, but I do think more choice is better, right? More choice allows for more nuance, right? And it can not go your way, but I would rather it not go my way and people have the flexibility to not be boxed in just to a binary choice, right? On something absolutely fucking retarded that shouldn't be a political football, right? Like I'd prefer a gradient of choices, right? As opposed to yes, no on something that's an edge case. And just, yeah, in terms of like the whole UBI thing, and like you have the camp that believes all taxation is theft, right? Which is an interesting take. And then you have the camp that there should be a safety net for every person at a base level. So like healthcare, for example. And you can sit somewhere in between that. You can not agree with either, what have you. I do find the whole concept of, okay, if there are no jobs, that kind of reconfigures the whole, what is it? I don't want to say conservative equation, but is it libertarian? If there are no jobs, then how the fuck are people supposed to make money? Right? If there are no jobs, then by default, at a base level, people's basic needs or Maslow's hierarchy of needs need to be taken care of. No? Financial security being one of the main ones, or one of the bigger sort of pillars on that pyramid. Layers on that pyramid, sorry. And then when you think about people needing purpose, okay, I think a lot of purpose for a lot of people, like there are a lot of people that take pride in their work, like I accomplished this in my career, I did this. That's a lot of people, right? And it doesn't have to be in a corporate space. You can just be a farmer, like you can be at base level, you can take pride in your work. You remove that, like that has such societal value to people. You remove it, like what are you? You're just a fucking, I don't know, at that point, just plug a content tube into your mouth and just switch your brain off. Right?
We look at communities where like economy has been stripped away, like a major industry has been stripped away, and without purpose, they almost always become super depressed slums. But I think that's why I like conversations like this, especially like the Black Mirror conversations. The the importance of hypotheticals in reasoning, I think is the single most important part of reasoning, is the ability to engage with an idea even if you don't agree with it, and not immediately villainize it because it sounds like something your opponent would say. Like, to strip it down to its basic pieces and think of it a different way. And so, like, when it comes to UBI, it's like we talk about in sci-fi, like a post-scarcity society where every human need is met. So there's no longer an economic incentive for supply and demand because we have so much. Abundance has just destroyed the levers of the economy. Like, you're like, well, I don't need to charge for grain because we have so much of it that people can just go grab it from the supermarket. Yes, is it realistic? No, but it allows you to say, is there a moral reason against these things? Could you arrive at that could society advance so much that we get to these things and not have it be stigmatized by being a drain on the system? And so same things like basic healthcare or like universal healthcare. It's a pragmatic issue. I don't like when people argue it on behalf of it being like a moral issue, because to me that just sounds like you're arguing on behalf of big pharma and the health insurance providers. Like, if you're sitting here as like, I don't know, a society that has enough money to make sure that everybody's taken care of and is healthy, and you're like, I don't like it. I think that it takes jobs away from the good, hardworking people at insurance companies. I don't see that as a moral argument. If you come at it from a pragmatic point, then totally cool. That's what politics is. But at the same time, people who say pragmatically, we can't make universal healthcare work in this specific country for X, Y, and Z reasons, is not inherently saying I hate people and I want to deny them healthcare. And again, that falls into the problem of like not having enough choice, because you can just simply say everything that you don't like is indicative of my opponent. And people end up making choices. Like, you hear it all the time. It's the lesser of two evils. Like, people will say, I'm not going to throw my vote away on a third party or on the society as I want it to go, because I think that the only way to even get reasonable amounts of change is by voting in one of these two directions. And so everything that I think society at large in a more optimistic mindset would want is shelved for pragmatism. And if you live your life constantly making purely pragmatic decisions, I don't think you have a society that you would aspire to live in, if that makes sense.
I have no idea how we got this far into
because of the social football stuff, you know, like you're saying.
But Goodwin said, if you have a moral claim to be provided free healthcare, then you have a moral case for enslavement of healthcare workers.
Well, yeah, and it's not a moral claim for it. That's the other thing. It's not a right. In society, we don't have positive rights. Like, your rights are things that can't be taken away from you. Like, the government doesn't have the right to curtail or take specific things away from you. It's not, it's impossible to ensure somebody is given something, you know? Mm-hmm. I can't guarantee everybody has a right to a house because we may not have enough houses. How do you make that work? And then so somebody else may be like, well, I have the right to have my own house. It's like, what if there are not enough houses? Somebody will be infringed upon. Like, that's not, but I can say the government doesn't have the right to kill you. I can say the government doesn't have the right to, you know, unfairly prosecute you. Like, it's the limitations of what government's capable of without, you know, fucking up its reason for being.
Griff Walker says, healthcare begins with your weight, diet, exercise, drug use, all that. First, government controls all of that, then pays your medical bills.
Yeah, exactly. Freedom from not right to, exactly. I think that, so back to this episode, another thing that kind of shocks me about the discourse around it, I view the behavior of the main character being pedo as a huge societal danger. People that watch the episode and be like, well, he hasn't done anything wrong yet because he was just looking at photos. It's like, I don't think
beat his meat.
Yeah. I think that the criminal behavior shows that he's willing to escalate criminal behaviors in pursuit of, or in defense, or to hide his behavior. It doesn't pass, again, another hypothetical we use all the time, which is like the whole zombie apocalypse. Someone you love is infected. how many people would sit there is like, for the good of society, even though I love that person, I'd have to
Put-
double tap him because you got to kill the zombie, because it's just too, like, and you see it, like, people will say, like, how does every zombie film work on our mind? By having somebody who loved their spouse or their child too much, and they try to lock them in a basement instead of, doing what in the world of, zombie movies is the right thing, and killing them. And then that person like rips off their arm because their zombie escapes and infects the entire world, and you look back like, what an idiot. Those type of hypotheticals, you should learn. It's like, yeah, there's some people, some situations that are simply too dangerous to society. The risk is not worth it. Even if someone has made up their mind that it's a tiny risk, it's about why flirt with risk at all. And so same with these things. It's like someone like that, why should we risk what they're capable of, just so that later on we look back and like, oh, you can't even make the argument like there's no way of knowing. Like, we knew.
There's 100% way of knowing. Yes,
we caught him. We caught him early, and yet.
But also, just looking at the photos is a crime.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not even that it's about capital punishment at that point. If you said, I think someone who's caught with child pornography is so dangerous, so you take capital punishment off the table and you say they should never be allowed back into society. Mm-hmm. Sure, we'll foot the bill. We'll keep them in jail for the rest of their lives, but they can never leave. People will be like, well, that's messed up. I don't think it. It's like, see, that's the thing. Like, you're not trying to deter crime then. Yeah. Like you're flirting with it,
Yeah.
I think what that, like, the way things are heading, it ultimately is going to take drastic action from the masses to self-correct, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And I do believe things eventually do correct. It's just the timeline can be delayed, or the can kick down the road a bit longer, but eventually things do self-regulate over time. In my personal opinion, people may disagree, and how that manifests, well, we'll see, right? But I do like to think that there are things that will be curtailed. So when I look at my home country, the UK, with the people going so soft on heinous crimes that have occurred, the media may portray one thing, but you talk to your everyman outside of London, outside of, I don't know, the Champagne socialist sphere. London's a weird place. It's like high finance and also Champagne socialist at the same time. It's a mix. The moment you leave London and speak to normal fucking human beings, right, who see what's going on, you get a good grasp of what's really bothering them. And it's evident that people here believe that law enforcement are not focusing on the right things, right? And this stuff has been memed everywhere on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. Or X. It's not a case of if for me, but when will it self-correct? But the problem with that is when people start self-correcting, or vigilantism, when that eventually happens, how far does it go, right? And there's this whole sort of like conversation of, oh, but with the death penalty, oh, but what if they execute the wrong person, what have you? Shut up, Goodwin.
No, this is hilarious. Yeah. When Terrence refers to normal human beings, he's of course excluding YouTube and Discord.
Oh, we're not. We are not normal people. We're on YouTube and Discord, so I obviously exclude us. I'm not leaving my room. But
so funny.
But like vigilantism, I can't even pronounce the word. Like that in itself will eventually get out of hand and need to be self-corrected. So it's this weird, like, I don't know, like 8-figure loop that occurs. Yeah.
Have you guys seen? I know you haven't, Katie. Have you seen Eddington Terrace?
No. Is that with Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, and Joaquin Phoenix. We should in the future watch and discuss that, because a lot of these themes we're talking about kind kind of fit into that. And I know a lot of people had mixed feelings about it, but I think the discussion is interesting.
My friend recommended it. Isn't that set in like some small American
Yeah.
town with like a sheriff or
Yep.
something?
In New Mexico somewhere, yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's give our closing thoughts and opinions about the episode. I'll start. This was definitely the most depressing episode we've ever watched. Especially once you guys told me what I completely missed or I purposely tried to block out.
You're an apologist is what you are. You're sitting there thinking that poor boy was,
yeah, I didn't understand you, Katie. I was like,
I still didn't like him, but I was just like, I was trying to somehow redeem him by saying, like, thinking that he was just being accused wrongly, because the kitty stuff puts it in a whole different realm of disgusting and vile. Yeah, he shouldn't be alive. Like, I think having them fight was a wonderful ending, and then him going to jail is great.
Yeah. Same. Like, I don't know if it's just the actor is
Gross.
that tuned into it, but I know that this episode is meant to have you feel empathetic, but I never, even the first time I watched it, I remember not liking him. And I don't know if it's maybe just subconsciously picking up on what he was putting down, because it is there when you rewatch it. It's there. There's a little bit of an offness to him, which I think is interesting, because I maintain, for all the bullshit this society says of like, you can't tell certain behavior, you can tell. I think people can tell. And I think they probably went and researched like what that was, and he's acted
either
it.
An amazing actor,
or he's a danger, and
he's a danger to society. Yeah. Like, he's either the next fucking Oscar winner, or there's something wrong.
He very well sold. Should not trust this dude. And again, on rewatch, you're like, yeah, from the beginning, he's doing things that are slimy and skeezy that you're like, okay,
red flags.
Yeah, from the very first scene, you're like, there's something not right about this guy.
Yeah. And yes, C. Stein, Dexter may have had a point.
Yeah. There's a reason people like things like Dexter.
Yes.
Because, again, we can all pretend that all crime is equal. No, it's not, dude. Like, again, I'd forgive a serial killer who murders people who hurt children, because though I don't think murder is correct, it's obviously sinful and wrong. It's like, okay, but in a utilitarian society, is there a huge difference between what Dexter does and being an executioner? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think for me, this was, like I said, I was 50-50, considering even pulling this episode, but I think it's good that we got through it. I do think, and he does have a point, that there are some weak bits that could have just been like left on the cutting room floor in terms of the episode, especially with the whole racism angle. It just completely waters down like the morbidity, of like what that guy was doing. I think there is just this, I don't know, this whole question around, why in this current era do we is there such an enablement or protection around these people? Why are they allowed to hide under acronyms like MAP, for example, and all this bullshit? And just how it's exacerbated by the tech in this day and age. Does mob justice, I do believe that mob justice is something that we are innately wired to seek out in some form, and it may not be in the traditional sense in the current era, like you see on the internet, right? And I already mentioned this already,
100%.
But we are like there is some. I do believe we have some sort of moral blueprint.
We've seen on the internet who are like, find out who this person is, and the number of people who like do the research to expose people.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, wonderful episode. Thank you so much.
Not wonderful episode.
No, not wonderful episode. I'm saying
thought-provoking episode.
Wonderful episode of Foreboding Friday.
Oh, gotcha.
Wonderful episode of Foreboding Friday. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. Not a wonderful episode of Black Mirror. Never want to watch that again. You guys were great in the chat. Also, a wonderful panel. We will see you guys tomorrow for our weekend watch party for Season's Beatings for The Matrix.
Yeah. Stick around. We'll be raiding right into Film Comics Explains. We're going to be discussing
Movie Nights with Niet.
Gladiator.
Yeah, an amazing film,
Some people say they don't like it.
which is insane.
Check those people's hard drive. What's up with that?
Yeah, find out who those people are.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
We'll see you guys
Bye.
soon. Bye.